think, actually, if you don't mind, Mr. Chair, I'll start and turn it over to Jillian. Is that okay?
You're next on the, you can go, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, for your indulgence, for your patience, for your public service. I'm Scott Wolf, Executive Director of Grow Smart Rhode Island, and we, not surprisingly, enthusiastically support Senate Resolution 0174. But we support it because we really are convinced that establishing a state Main Street coordinating program is a very prudent investment in a stronger Rhode Island economy, better public health, and more housing and transportation opportunities for the state. Particularly important, we think, is that in this time of federal funding cutbacks and some fiscal constraints, obviously, here at the state level, that we need to look for new ways to generate revenue, and ideally through enhanced economic activity. And more than ever, I think that means we need to focus on what our assets are, and we believe strongly, as I think you all do, that our main streets, our village centers, our downtowns are key assets. They have great bones, they have great history, stories, and economic potential, but they need some work. Some more than others, but I'd say all of them could benefit from technical assistance, capacity building, best practice sharing, et cetera, which a state Main Street coordinating program would provide. So there's three major reasons beyond this broad premise I've outlined why we think this program would provide a substantial boost for our state. And it's based on research, as Garrett indicated. A state coordinating Main Street program is a well-documented revenue-generating proposition. The Main Street America program that this resolution would enable us to bring to Rhode Island has a proven track record of a systematic approach to small business and Main Street development. And thirdly, at a time when we're grappling with housing problems and a lack of accessible transit and health concerns, we think our Main Street districts are in many ways the best places to address a lot of these issues, to grow small businesses, to expand affordable housing and transportation choices, and improve public health. Garrett provided a lot of data. We have it on a longer-term basis, but it's all in our testimony, so I won't belabor that, but just suffice it to say that this is a program that produces a lot of new businesses, new jobs, a lot of rehabbed and more fully utilized buildings, and creates a lot of volunteer spirit and volunteer engagement. And overall, the latest stats from Main Street America are that since the program was initiated, it's generated a return on investment of 24-1. I know you hear those kinds of figures a lot, and I understand the skepticism, but I think this is a very methodical study that resulted in that. And our one of our northeastern neighbors, Maine, which has had a state Main Street coordinating program since 1999, has a reinvestment ratio of 23-1. So close to home, we've seen this kind of great result. I won't belabor things further. My colleague Jillian, who is really overseeing our Main Street effort, can give you a lot more texture and detail. And thanks for the opportunity to share our thoughts with you.
Scott, thank you very much. Thank you for what you do for Grow Smart and Rhode Island. Questions or comments for Scott? Scott, I just have a question. If you can request,
yeah.
You can provide to the fiscal office or whatever those ROIs. We're a trust but verify group.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, and they actually are in our testimony, but I will specifically forward it to the fiscal office.
Jillian, over to you.
Thank
if you can keep your testimony to 3 minutes or less, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you. So thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the committee members for the opportunity to testify on this issue that is near and dear to my heart, which is State Main Street Coordinating Program. So my name is Jillian Finkle. I am the Deputy Director of Grow Smart Rhode Island, and I am also the former coordinator for the Broad Street Regeneration Initiative that was mentioned that back in Central Falls, Pawtucket, and Cumberland back in starting in 2017. And one of the reasons that brought me here today was actually being the person on the ground implementing what we didn't know at the time was a Main Street program in that Broad Street corridor. As we continued and saw the value, being able to meet every single business owner and trying to meet all of the property owners to prepare them for the disruption of the construction that was happening when RIDOT was going to be making investments and improvements to that street. And to have those business owners to talk about my integrity for actually being there, to know them and to be able to represent their concerns about the project, and we were actually able to influence what DOT did on the ground with that project by coordinating all of that community engagement. So imagine if that could happen in every downtown, in every Main Street district, in all of our village centers, and even in our commercial centers. If there was a person or an organization, be they volunteer-led to start, but maybe someday even a paid person whose job it was to do this, how much we could get done. As others have referenced, Main Street America, proponents of a 4-point approach to revitalization and economic development, and we have made some decent investments in the first 3 points, which are the built environment, the businesses themselves, and also the events and communication about places. But we have not made investments in the organization part. It's the people that do all the work. So our program would support those people that support the places that support our small businesses. So I know that this is a very difficult budget year, but as others have said, this is truly a revenue-generating proposition. And it does take a little bit of time because it is community-led. This is not us coming in and running a program for a community. It is us providing best practices and training, technical assistance, so that the community can develop themselves as they want to. And that does take some time, so we really cannot afford to wait. We are ready to hit the ground running. We've been working with Main Street America. We just need a little bit of funding because this is a new initiative for Grow Smart Rhode Island. And we're small but mighty, but the state would need to come first. We've been talking to philanthropists who believe in this, but they agree this is a core function of government. So if the state could go first, we do believe over 3 years that we can start to develop some other sources of funding and work as a public-private partnership to really make a difference in Rhode Island. So thank you.
Jillian, thank you very much. Question for you regarding the program. We believe 500,000 is the right number because?
So that's the minimum to get this started. It represents a full-time state coordinator and approximately $50,000 a year contract with Main Street America to bring them here, to do trainings with our communities, and to help us set the program up over the first 3 years.
For the first
3 years. That's where the 500,000 comes from.
So it's a 3-year. We're basically saying it
would be 100, if you divide it in 3, it'd be 167,000
per year.
But does it have to be a 500? Does it have to be a 3-year? There's a 3-year commitment, but I'll say it's 166,666.
Yeah, so Main Street America's experience in other states has been that you need 3 years to really get your feet under you and get this going. And so they require us to have a 3-year commitment before they'll sign the MOU with us.
Appreciate that piece, but for fiscal year 26, it's 166,000, right? We don't put 500,000 in the bank and say, okay, Scott can go make a debit out of that account whenever he wants. We appropriate for 1 year. I don't think we have any, Steve, I don't think we have any accounts where we set aside, except for it's a tax credit kind of thing, right, when something comes due. Correct? Right, and then that becomes something over. Okay, but it could be a case should we do this? $166,666. Continuing.
We could certainly get started with that.
That's it.
I think if we sense that there's a commitment, it's going to be easier for us to get Main Street America bought
I got
into it and
Okay.
to
Hey,
really
question or
launch it
comment?
the best way.
Thank you. Questions or comments for Jillian? Seeing none, motion by Senator Costa for holding, seconded by Senator Vargas, Senator Zurier. All in favor? All opposed? I want to go back to